Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
All right, so you're back again.
They did their best to bar me from the building. I somehow made it through. They said, "How'd you get in?" I said, "The door."
I got to give you credit. We can't invent you. All right, so. All right. So Al Golden took the Cincinnati Bengals job, and look, like 10 days ago, that's pretty much what I thought he was going to do. Like, you knew they were going to move on from Lou Anarumo.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not that Lou Anarumo was a bad defensive coordinator. I mean, he did some good work for Cincinnati, but you knew he was going to leave. Okay? You knew. And Al's been there before, and I pretty much thought that that's where he was going to end up. His pathway, if Al desires to be a head coach, is actually, in my opinion, easier in the NFL than it is in college. What happened to him at Miami is one of the disgraceful things that college
100%.
sports brings about. He had zero to do with Nevin Shapiro. Zero. He happened to be the person that came in after a lot of this stuff had happened and ended up paying the ultimate penalty for it. And that's and so his pathway and then he gets labeled. And in getting labeled, he has sat back and has taken other jobs along the way. It'll be his second stint with Cincinnati. I just think in the NFL, your pathway, even though there's 32 jobs as opposed to 134, it's easier for him to be a head coach in the NFL is in college. Because, there are some people that do work in college, that do some hiring, that have a tendency to listen to people. Instead of following their own instincts, but that's a different story, different day. Not here, because Pat's exceptional. Schuyler family announced a $5 million gift for the revitalization of Beaver Stadium, so that's another step forward there. They have been taking down and clearing a rubble, and we will see what how quickly they can start building the temporary seating on that side, which includes for us the broadcast level too. And that broadcast is it's a temporary booth. That will not be. I mean, we'll be on that side still, but it'll be temporary. The defensive coordinator job at Penn State, which is drawing a lot of interest. Lots of interest. I mean, the fans are all over it. There are people. I find it's always interesting because, people are interested, so I understand the interest. So that right? I don't have one right now. Okay.
And every time another guy is named somewhere, cross them off the list. Another one off the list. Another one off the list.
I know.
Yeah.
But here is the one that the couple things. Number one, spring practice hasn't even started.
No, not even close.
Okay. Which in turn means OTAs haven't started. Which in turn means that training camp hasn't started. And which in turn means Nevada week hasn't started. It's okay. Okay. So it's okay. If you have to wait a couple of extra days, it really is not quite the big deal you think it is. Just James knows what he would do. James has made a lot of great choices.
Yeah.
Right? And and he will put time into the choice to make sure it's the right choice. Okay? And that's where we are right now. Right? He's putting the time, he's putting the effort in. Right? And he'll come up with what he thinks is the best fit, because fit is part of this as well. He'll come up with the best fit and then go from there. And then you'll start going through the winter workouts, and then you'll start going through, right, the installments and in spring practice and the OTAs and things like that. Right? Now I realize that this is one where a coordinator left after, and you're going to see this more and more.
Sure, absolutely.
You make the playoff, staff is going to stay together. You're not going to have people leave the staff, right, to go someplace else. Just like except for you did have some players enter the transfer portal, including Bo, and a couple of other guys like Jerry Cross and people like that, right? But you notice, for example, like Trey Wallace and Amari Evans entered after it was done. Evans ended up going to Washington, and Wallace ended up going to Ole Miss. But this happens later because you're in the playoff, which, by the way, is a really good thing, because that means you were in the playoff. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's happened later.
And when you're playing in the month of January, that means you've been past the first round.
Yeah, and it means you're past the second round, mm-hmm. Right? So let's just, it's okay. And what I like is, I like this. People are floating names all over the place, and nobody has any idea who James is talking to.
No.
Right? And to me, that's a good thing when a coach can go through and can, I didn't want to use the term bubble, but just can go about their business.
Sure.
Without public speculation about it.
And it shows you can trust your staff you have currently.
Right, exactly.
Those names are not getting out.
All right, so first NCAA rankings are out for wrestling. And let's see, where are we right here? Represented all 10 weight classes. They have 4 number ones. Okay. Carter Starachi is number 1 at 184. I know. Why do you have such a shocked look in your face? Right now, the other first seeds would be Tyler Kasich at 157, Mitchell Messenbrink at 165, and Greg Kirkfleet at heavyweight. Okay.
Which was surprising with Kirkfleet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not taking anything away, right? He's national NCAA champion, could be another NCAA, multiple-time NCAA champion, but obviously with Stevenson coming back, I thought it was surprising.
Yeah. Luke Lilladall's 4. Braden Davis is tied for 7th. Bo Bartlett's 2. Shane Van Ness is 4. Kasich, as we mentioned, 1. Messenbrink 1. Levi Haynes is 2. I think Levi was going to win it.
Yeah, I think Levi Haynes should be number 1.
Starachi is 1. Josh Barr is 4, and Greg Kirkfleet is 1. So that's where they are right now, and they're going to take on Rutgers At the Rack on Friday night starting at 8, and it's going to be on BTN. Okay? So that's where that is. And get everybody up to date on that. Now, your team, the 49ers, they're bad.
Yeah. Even bad trying to see. There's how you don't conduct a defensive coordinator search.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
It's a mess.
Literally interview one guy and just put all your eggs in the basket and hope and pray you get that guy who is now the front runner for a head coaching job.
Yeah. The Browns are going to keep Kevin Stefanski, by the way.
Yep.
And he's going to be the play caller next season. Hey, you know what? He knows his job's on the line.
No question.
If he thinks he's the best option to do it, go out and either keep your job through great play calling, or at least go out in a blaze of glory and figure out, look, I did everything I could. I don't blame him. So, yeah, that's what. So Stefanski's going to be the play caller now. In Jacksonville, they interviewed somebody to be a head coach, and then when it was over with, they fired the GM.
That's true.
Well, I know.
I never understood why they kept Bulky to begin with. Usually when a good organization says it's time for a change, the head coach and the person that is the right-hand man to the head coach, who hired the head coach in theory, is probably the one that goes with him. And he did not. And then suddenly now you're in a coaching search and you fire him. I don't think it's a good look for your franchise in any way, shape, or form. And it's a franchise that has not had a good look many times in this last decade.
Meanwhile, Detroit's looking for all new coordinators. Yeah. Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, is now the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, is now the head coach of the New York Jets. It's interesting with the Jets. Normally, when you change coaches, and I don't know if people are aware of the pattern or not, but 8 times out of 10, if I have a disciplinarian, I want a coach, a player's coach. If I have a player's coach, I want a disciplinarian. If I have an offensive coach, I want a defensive coach. If I have a defensive coach, I want an offensive coach.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The Jets, they hired Robert Saleh.
Defensive.
And they stayed defensive, and they hired Glenn.
Yep.
Eberflus was a defensive coach, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So they hired Johnson, an offensive coach, and he gets to work with Caleb Williams. And maybe they can figure out, like, the play clock. I'm watching that game. I'm like,
I could not believe that. I just absolutely could not believe that.
Unfortunately, here's the issue.
What's the Chicago Bears? That's
I actually could. I could completely understand what they were doing. That's who they are. So yeah, college football title playoff game viewership down. Okay. 22.1 million has been the average. They'd averaged 22.1 million. Most watched non-NFL sporting event over the past year, but a 12% drop from the 25 million that saw Michigan beat Washington. Okay, it is the third lowest audience of the 11 college football playoff title games. Okay. It's not going to say, it doesn't say it in the article, but what day was it?
Mm-hmm. Luther King Day, yeah.
What day was it?
Man, it was a Monday.
What day was it?
Martin Luther King Day, to begin with. People have the day off. It was Monday.
A fogged-in airport.
I'm completely circling a fogged-in airport here. Presidential inauguration.
Oh,
there we go.
There we go, boy. It
took a little time there.
That's all right. We wasted 10 minutes of the show watching you guess.
Light bulb finally came on.
Right. It does. Whether you like him or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
It did draw viewership.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And people had the day off. You're starting the game at 7:30. Yeah, that's which you can't start any earlier. I think that's fine. But
that's fine.
The other part of it is, the people had the day off. You're winding down.
Well,
you're not
the
necessarily.
issue you have with this is the NFL.
100%.
The NFL will not give up
Weekends.
any of its times. Why do you think Penn State played on a Thursday?
Yeah. Yep.
Like a day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a holiday weekend.
Yep.
Played on a
Wild card
Thursday.
weekend was the
following
weekend, and they wouldn't give it
because
up.
the NFL would not give them the day.
Yeah.
They'd put, the concession the NFL made on the opening round on a Saturday in the regular season was they put the Houston Texans game with Kansas City
on a Saturday at 4:30. Yep.
at 1.
Or 1, and then the other one was 4. Ravens.
Right?
Steelers,
Because
4:30.
Texas was playing at 4.
Yep.
And they put the Steelers game with the Ravens at 4:30 because Penn State was playing at noon.
Yep.
That was their, quote, concession.
Yeah.
Like, concession, you shouldn't have been playing.
No. And the problem is, even the streaming games, which I think you could go head to head in the regular season, unfortunately in the playoffs you're gonna lose ratings to the NFL. And that's the other part of it too, where I would have played Saturday night the 11th. I would have gone head to head with the Steelers and Ravens on Prime. But the problem is you're going to lose ratings. There's no question. The NFL will always be king.
Yep.
They know it. And that attitude is what will never, unfortunately, change.
Yeah. The opening round averaged 10.6 million viewers. Really good. That's an average.
Yeah. And I think the way they did it
the
was exceptional.
quarterfinals averaged 17 million viewers. The semifinals averaged better than 19 million viewers. Now remember, that's a slight decline. Now why will next year be a better bellwether? Because remember, the semifinals last year were on New Year's Day, and that was the Rose Bowl, Alabama, Michigan, and the Sugar Bowl.
Yep.
See, the day of the week when it's played makes a difference.
Huge difference.
Okay? So they played on New Year's Day with the semifinals last year, as opposed to a Thursday and a Friday. And you had 4 brands in the semifinals that were brands. Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas. I'm sorry, you're not going to get better, quote, brands than that.
Right.
Now, you've got one sort of SEC team in there in Texas, 2 Big Tens, and a national independent. Right? But if those games are on New Year's Day, just say there's semifinal games are on New Year's Day, and I'm not proposing they go to New Year's Day, right? But now it's a fairer comparison compared to Michigan playing Alabama, 2 great brands, by the way, playing in an overtime game that drew 27.7 million viewers.
Yep.
Well, it was also the Rose Bowl. 5 o'clock on New Year's Day, people love to sit down and watch the Rose Bowl.
Absolutely. It's tradition. It's called the Granddaddy for a reason.
Right. And so to compare last year to this year, and the NFL is not going to change.
No.
So let's start.
No,
let's start with this.
Absolutely not going to.
The National Football League does not give a darn.
No, because they know they don't have to.
About anything except the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all they care about. They don't care about their feeder system. They don't care about, what college football has done for the NFL is remarkable because, we just talked about the Bears. Did the Bears have to introduce the world to Caleb Williams? Or was he already introduced to the world at Oklahoma, USC, and a Heisman Trophy? Did the world have to be introduced to Jalen Daniels?
Nope.
The Heisman Trophy winner, 5-year starter between Arizona State and LSU?
Nope.
No. Right. Will the world have to be introduced to Abdul Carter?
Nope.
Shador Sanders?
Nope.
Hey, Cam Ward, well, he's in the ACC, so maybe. Cam Ward, I mean, they don't have to.
No.
What college football does is they end up creating stars. So when they enter the NFL, they've got star power already behind them. Right? As opposed to, this is where the NBA has a problem. Cooper Flagg is going to help them out so much.
Yes.
I think Zach Edey's helped them some, but Cooper Flagg's going to help them out so much because watching Duke, people know who he is.
Absolutely.
Okay? The first 3 picks of last year's draft, nobody knows anything about them.
Nope.
We're an international game. Well, guess what? Your games are played here,
Games
sport.
are played in America. Yep, absolutely.
Okay?
America still has the gold medal. They have for years.
Right? But the games are played here.
Yeah.
We don't watch French basketball.
No. You would have known nothing about Wemby had he not been hyped coming in and
Wembanyama, yeah. I mean, he was hyped to the point, and some people at least got to know him, but none of us had. I'd never seen him play
Never saw him play, never had a clue.
Right. Okay. Huh. And this is where the NBA has made a mistake. I mean, and like, for example, the 2 players that played for G League Ignite, Scoot Henderson was one. I can't remember the other one. Right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't play college basketball, nobody knows who the heck they are.
Nope.
You've got a league of people, like for example, Jason Tatum came into the league. Everybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
It may have been only 1 year at Duke, but everybody saw him. Right? They all knew who he was. Sure. Right? Jaylen Brown played at Cal. These people knew who he was. Okay? Even Peyton Pritchard, who comes off the bench for the Celtics, played at Oregon. People know who he is.
Sure. Yep.
Right? Coming in. Now, do you develop some guys over time that become stars? Like Giannis is a great example. Okay, Giannis is a great example.
Sure.
But remember the hype of what got the NBA back on track and going again. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson played in the national championship game against each other at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City. Right? They watched the run of the 2 players all the way through. Magic and Michigan State won it. But they got into the league. People were excited. They knew who they were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they knew who they were. Same thing with so many other guys. Well, then Keem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing are going head-to-head in the national championship game. Olajuwon at Houston, Ewing at Georgetown. They both get in the league. We watched 3 years of Michael Jordan. Okay? Now, you get lucky that you hype LeBron to the max.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, and they were smart, and ESPN was smart about it. ESPN showed the St. Vincent games on TV. They played all over the country, so you got to see him play. And so when you got to Cleveland, at least you knew who he was.
Absolutely.
But right now, you've got an NBA draft that is littered with players that nobody has seen play.
No.
As opposed to the NFL, where you've seen every guy play.
Yep.
There's no NFL Ignite. There's no let's go over, and by the way, he really cleaned up as a running back in the German league. it's like right? What a great year he had in Australia. Okay, great. You're like, I don't know. I never saw him play. And the NBA wonders why their ratings are down. Right? The NBA has some problems.
Absolutely.
And part of the problem is that we're a global game. Okay, I understand. That's great. I understand that. And so when a Yao Ming comes over, right, but he's the only guy.
Right.
All these years, he is the only guy from China. He's it.
Yep.
Right? Dante Exum. Hey, he was great when he played in Australia. I'm like, oh, okay. Know nothing about him. And to this day, you still know nothing about him.
Ricky Rubio. I mean, you know a little bit about him, but
right.
Same
to this
thing.
day, again, they all made a lot of money in the NBA.
Sure.
But that's all they made.
Yeah.
They didn't make playoff runs or anything like that.
No.
And you didn't sit there and go, wow, those guys are stars. Like,
no.
Now, Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, they will.
Cooper Flagg will will give the NBA some juice.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest with you. I can't even remember who the heck the first round pick was, the first overall pick. He was from France.
Yeah.
Right? He went to the Hawks, right?
Yep.
I don't think he's done anything yet.
No, not that I know of.
And I think the third pick was from France.
Yeah.
Who was the second pick?
I'm trying to remember. This draft class has been so poor.
Well, it's a lot because
again, it's international.
It's lousy.
Yeah, it's literally been. And the other part with the NBA itself has hurt.
There was more excitement about Zach Edey being drafted 9th by Memphis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I mean, seriously.
The other thing, I think the NBA has hurt themselves in so many ways. Yeah, I remember obviously Shepard went to the Rockets, right? That was the one that I could remember out of the top 5.
Yeah.
Castle went to the Spurs, the guy from UConn.
Oh.
But other than that.
Oh, no, he wasn't second.
He was 4. Second was Alex Sarr from Perth. I don't remember him at all.
Oh, God. What are they doing?
Don't remember him at all. G League guy, Ron Holland the second, 5 overall. Tijane Salon from the Hornets, same thing. Donovan Klingen from UConn.
People know Klingen and Castle are. They played in the national championship game.
Obviously.
Again.
Yep. Cody Williams at 10 from Colorado.
Yeah. But the bottom line is this.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL keeps backhanding college football.
Right.
When you can easily schedule your games around college football. College football played 3 games on the 21st. Okay? Let college football have its day out of respect to college football. Last I checked, all the stadiums are open on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Right? When college football is going to do this. Just toss them a bone.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I make the argument.
Now, I will say this about the play. Can I say this about the playoffs?
Yep, absolutely.
Very quickly. A Saturday regular season games have happened over the years. It doesn't mean you can't have Saturday afternoon games the weekend before.
Sure.
Or the weekend after. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Give college football that day. Now, as for the playoffs, those are scheduled ahead of time. I completely get it. The NFL has locked that in, and college football is coming in late to the party. So I've got that part.
Agreed.
Okay? They're also doing a good job of you're playing the first, you're not playing again to the Penn State's case was the 9th, and then Ohio State's case was the 10th. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got at least some space between games to heal up and so forth. But the NFL has got to sit back and go, you know what? Part of the reason we are where we are today is because the college football guys do a good job of developing stars.
Yeah.
That come into our league with instant star power. I don't have to sit there and take Caleb Williams on a tour so people know who he is. They know who he is. I don't have to take Jalen Daniels. We're going to have to take Daniels around so people know who our quarterback is. Are you kidding me? People in Washington are going, we got the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay? Your marketing has already been done for you at the college level. Okay? There has to be some semblance within that office on Park Avenue where somebody says, you know what? Let's make sure we clear out that Saturday. Just one day. Let's clear out that Saturday for those people because you know what? They've helped us get where we are.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the NBA, we're the international game.
They've hurt
and guess
themselves.
what? And everybody's sitting there going, sure, is Doncic a great player? Of course he is. Right? He's developed into a great star. Giannis has developed into a great star. There's no doubt that there are some, Jokic has developed into a great star.
Absolutely.
They didn't play college, right? But for the most part, it took years before we figured out that Jokic was good. It took years for Doncic on there all the time for us to figure out he was good.
Yeah.
Right? It took, Giannis, same thing. I mean, Giannis was invisible for a long time in the league.
2 years at least, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was invisible.
Yep.
Right? And all of a sudden it's like, hey, the guy whose name we can't pronounce, Antetokounmpo, hey, how about that?
Yeah. Yep. And the biggest thing, obviously, I'll go both sports here. First, the NFL. Yeah, obviously a free agency in March, of course. The other big part of it that you have in March is the scouting combine. Why is the scouting combine at the level it's at right now? Because of college football. College football is not relevant, neither is the scouting combine. Nobody's going to care one bit about it. And with the NBA, I think what has hurt them even more, obviously they've made it an international game, yes. The other part of it, the NBA and Major League Baseball both do not have a predetermined location for their championship game.
Right.
So where you have to make up for that is an exhibition game. And that is your all-star game. That is where the NBA thrived for so many years. They were the best entertainment weekend, without a doubt, when it came to the all-star game.
Now they've ruined it.
Exactly. They've destroyed it. Completely destroyed it.
What gets me is this, okay? The players have hurt their own game.
Completely. They've destroyed it.
I mean, the players have hurt it, and you haven't had management with enough backbone to look at them and go, excuse me, there's 365 days in the year. I'm asking you to work 82 of them.
Exactly. Yeah. Load management. People are paying what people are paying
People
for.
are disgusted with load management.
And they should be.
Right?
They should, but why? There's no reason they shouldn't be.
When Steve Kerr, again, this is the backbone part of it. This is the backbone part of it. The bend over backwards for what the player wants. Steve Kerr, they go to Cleveland, admittedly the seventh game, I think it was the seventh game on the trip.
Yep.
Okay, I get it. I understand that part. But that father and son who went to the Cavaliers game.
And paid a lot of money to do it.
Right? Because the son wanted to see Steph Curry play.
Uh-huh.
And Kerr's like, well, hey, it's just the way it worked out. Just the way it worked out.
Yeah, ridiculous. And that is what made...
Right. And guess what? People are paying to see the product.
Big money.
Okay.
Big money.
There was a game last week. The Sixers were playing... Oh, boy. I'm trying to... I can't remember. Okay, can't remember who it was. And Dick Girardi showed me the phone. He says, look at all the Sixers that are out tonight.
Yeah.
It was Embiid was out. Maxey was out. Everybody that was worth their salt on the team was out.
Yeah. And what you're paying...
telling people pay top dollar.
Exactly. Sixers tickets have increased so much in these last couple of years. And that's
but all the guys worth their salt on the team were out of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I took my family to see the Penguins in Ottawa, and it was probably the worst game the Penguins played all year. They lost 5-0. Right. And they were disappointed Malkin couldn't play. Mm-hmm. Okay. But Crosby played. Yeah. Letang played. Mm-hmm. Giroux played.
Yep.
Okay. Kachuk played. Right? Yeah, I mean, injuries happen. Malkin, it was the third straight game he missed with an injury. He finally came back when they played Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay. So, too bad about Malkin. But everybody's like, yeah, but everybody else is playing. Yep, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that's what you want.
Absolutely.
I mean, are you disappointed if you're going to go to an NHL game and the Oilers are playing right now and Connor McDavid's on a 3-game suspension? Yeah.
Yeah. That's out of the control of the Oilers.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody can control that. And it's McDavid's fault.
Right.
Okay? But you still get to see Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
Meanwhile, in the NBA, you go, it's... I've told the Larry Bird story a billion times. Mm-hmm. I know I have, about the back and the whole thing. And hey, you're going to have to sit out and the whole thing. And then he comes in, he tells the trainer and the doctor, he says, hey, you're not going to have Larry for a week. They said, what are you talking about? He's out there warming up right now. What?
Yeah.
And then they have the conversation in the office. And again, I got this from a close mutual friend of Larry's. Mm-hmm. So this is not, I'm not speaking out of turn.
Right.
Okay. I didn't make the story up or get bits and pieces. A close personal friend of his is a friend of mine. I don't know Larry. Mm-hmm. I've never met Larry Bird in my life, but we have a close mutual friend. Okay. And he goes in the doctor's office, and the doctor gives him what for and the whole thing. And he says, look, I understand everything you're saying. He says, but now you got to listen to me. He says, there's a family of 4 that came in from Framingham. Framingham's a suburb of Boston. That's just so people know. Yep. All right. It's right about where 495 is on the belt. And he says, they've never seen me play. He says, it's my obligation to go out and play for them.
Mhm.
Right? Where's that desire right now? When you have players complaining about the 65 game rule to get awards and want it reduced to 58,
Yeah.
what the heck are you doing?
It's
Right? It's like watching a league go out there, the old expression, eat your own. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
fans are disgusted by load management.
And they should be.
I mean, okay. The Dallas Mavericks, the last day of the regular season, 2 years ago? It was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
3 years ago?
When they were in the playoff hunt.
Right. If they won the game, they would be in the
playoffs.
play-in round.
Yep.
And set everybody out.
Yeah.
If I'm a Mavericks fan, where's my desire to go renew my season tickets?
Nope.
I mean, the Miami Heat got out of that round all the way to the finals when they played Denver. Remember, they were an 8.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to play the 8-9 game
Yep.
to play in.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And that's
I mean, so no, don't tell me like you don't want, you want
ridiculous.
You don't want to play in that game because we have no chance. You just had the Heat get there.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like
It's
people want to watch a product where people are trying. When you are sitting out games left and right, you're not trying.
No, and that's people criticized David Stern in so many ways. He helped make the NBA what it is today. I don't think there's any question about that from a branding and a marketing perspective, absolutely, but from a disciplinarian's perspective too. You remember when the Spurs sat out all their starters, he threatened to fine them $250,000 and said this isn't happening again. That's what has to happen ultimately to really get this back on track, because this is just out of hand with what you've seen in the NBA. And you talk about what the fans pay. The fans pay a ridiculous amount of money to see these guys who don't play. And that's where it's just completely out of hand.
The regular season ratings are down?
Completely, and they should be. And they absolutely should be. It's what made, when I see Kobe Bryant shooting free throws with a ruptured Achilles, and I see guys like Michael Jordan playing 82 games every year, it's embarrassing to see the guys of today putting their feet up on the bench, taking 12 games off for no reason.
What's interesting about what happens with the NBA, look, I've said this 1,000 times, I'll make it 1,001. You're hurt, you're hurt.
Sure.
Okay, I got it. If you're injured, you're injured.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you've got to sit out. So I understand that. But you guys have guys that aren't hurt that are sitting out because I'm tired. Tired of what?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were the best conditioned athletes in the world. Go out and play.
Go punch a time clock and be a single parent for, work 7 to 4:30 or 8 to 5:30 and tell me how tired you are.
I've done that, the single mother of 3.
Yeah,
all right? She's the one that needs load management, not an NBA player.
Absolutely.
Okay, but when you look at what they have today, hot tubs, cold tubs.
The best trainers you could have.
Access to constant, they'll bring in trainers, massage, to take care of whatever. My back's not quite right. My calf isn't quite right. Okay, chartered jets, charters. Okay, they don't stay at the Roadway Inn. They stay at the Four Seasons. Yep. They stay at the Ritz-Carlton. Okay? That's where they stay. Travel can't be any better.
Right.
It used to be the NBA had to travel commercially. And the rule was in the NBA you had to be on the first flight out of that city the next morning. That was the rule. Okay? Well, that's not the rule anymore. You have charters. They spend a lot of money on charters. Okay? Again, you are not staying at the Quality Inn. You're staying at the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons. All right? That's where you stay.
Yeah.
Okay? This is after you've gone through your cold tub treatment, your hot tub treatment. Okay? Best trainer in the world, trying to take care of you left and right. Because, I mean, look, you are going to get sprains. There's no doubt. I mean, over an 82-game schedule, you're going to get sprains and twists and turns and things like that. You're going to land on your back hard, okay, on a play that was crazy. Things will happen. I've got that. But you're making tens of millions of dollars in most cases per year, not in your career, per year. You've got to have something in you where there's an obligation to the people. Okay, you are nothing without people in the stands.
100%.
You are nothing
100%.
without people watching you on TV. You're nothing. I'm the product. Well, guess what? If the people are like,
people don't watch it, you don't have a product.
If people sit there and they look at the product and go, well, it'd be nice if you showed up.
Yep.
I'm the product. Well, goody for you. I showed up tonight and there was no product.
Yeah.
Really? You're the product? Yep. Guess what? The shelves are bare.
Yeah. Yep.
Again, Dick showed me that last week. I can't remember who they were playing. Right? But he showed me the list of out. It was
extensive.
It was, in other words, I said, so you're telling me that Delaware's playing tonight? That's their,
the Blue Coats.
That's their G League team. He says, pretty much, yeah. Yeah. It's just
it's
and they wonder why the ratings are down.
Yeah.
Now did they do well on Christmas Day? That Warriors game against the Lakers did very well as an example. But again, Curry played, LeBron played. I mean, like everybody played. Right? But it's these other games where you sit back and go, you remember you're talking about Stern with the Spurs and Popovich was fighting him on it?
Yeah.
What does it tell you that a guy with the backbone of Popovich, and Popovich has a backbone, wouldn't go against his players?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, completely. And the other part of it also is, we're doing these low management to prevent injuries. How did that work out for Kawhi Leonard? How did that work out for Steven Strasburg? That's what drives you nuts more than anything.
It doesn't.
It doesn't work. And that's where it's just it feels like it's an excuse to
let's look how the load management
hose the fans.
How'd the load management work out for Michael Jordan? Oh, that's right. He played all the time.
He played every game.
He kept winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That Bulls team was. People compare watching that Bulls team to the Beatles, etc. Why? Because they played every night. Dennis Rodman, yes, off the court, even on the court at times, was very, very misbehaving. Still one of the best on-ball defenders I ever saw play the game. Obviously, one of the best rebounders I ever saw play the game, and he hustled night in and night out.
Yep. So it's. Pro sports, those two leagues right there, the NFL's lack of appreciation for what the college game means to their marketing.
Absolutely.
Right. And the NBA, which has gone the international route, can't figure out why people don't embrace the stars of the game. Like, I don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
You have a draft and you sit there and go, oh, this is incredible. You're like going, doesn't really feel incredible to me. Look at the international flavor of the game. None of us watch Spanish basketball.
No.
We don't watch the French league. I don't watch Australian basketball.
No.
Okay? I don't have time to, nor do I have the desire.
No. And the only time you ever watch is the Olympics, and that's a small, ever so small sample of what you see out of them. Meanwhile, you're watching the American players quite a bit at the college game. And
see, I keep going back to Cooper Flagg, for example. But, I mean, look, right now he's the one that people are watching in the college game, and there's a good chance he's the first overall pick. Well, guess what? People are going to know who the heck he is. And the NCAA basketball tournament, allowed us to get to know Donovan Clingan, allowed us to get to know Stefan Castle. Edie's been a constant for a couple of years now.
Yeah. Yep. And the arguments that people are going to make, oh, well, look at Luka, look at Dirk. For every Luka and Dirk, there's a Dante Exum, and there's 20 other international guys that didn't make it. Well, look at Kobe Bryant. Look at Tracy McGrady. For every one of them, there's a Gerald Green and a Darius Miles that didn't make it too. Right. So there's no question that you're looking at very small sample sizes when it comes to that, the international game, or those that came straight from high school to the pros. I think one of the best things the NBA did, and there was disagreements galore on it, is having the age restriction, where you get to see these guys play a year of college basketball.
Yeah, and that's, again, that is not an NCAA rule.
No, that's an NBA rule.
Right, that's an NBA rule. You have to be, it's actually a combo, 1 year and 19 years of age. Now they're a little loosey-goosey on the 19 year. They can, if you're going to turn 19 that year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But that's the rule. Just like the NFL, it's 3 years out of high school.
Yep.
Right. And I see this from the pro leagues. I don't understand why the NBA ratings are low. I do.
I completely do.
I mean,
it's not hard to tell.
Okay. Even you said it was the best All-Star game? Yeah, it was.
It was. Yeah, that's the worst.
The final score was 202 to 198. I'm like going, what the heck am I watching here? Nobody's playing.
And there's so many rules to it that have just completely confused the fans. Don't spit on the people that are paying the salaries of these players. And don't tell me the owner does. The owner doesn't do anything if he doesn't have butts in the seats. Then that's what makes it so frustrating.
I just,
people remember 1988 All-Star Weekend. Obviously, Michael Jordan goes from the free throw line, does an unforgettable dunk that's been done before, but Jordan did it in a way that people didn't see it before.
He's a flair, man. He had a flair.
He's without a doubt. Dominique Wilkins, same thing. Dunked with so much power.
Wilkins, unbelievable.
Yeah, and then you go the 88 All-Star game. It's in Chicago. Jordan gets the dunk title. Following night, he follows it up with an MVP.
Yeah, but they played to win.
Yeah, exactly. They played to win.
They got out there, and you got guys that played to win.
Yeah.
Now you got all-star games where like people are like just like throwing up numbers and we're going to throw it off the backboard and the whole thing. Yeah. Isn't this fun and exciting? Actually, it's not.
No, because nobody plays any defense.
Okay? Let's play a game.
Yeah.
Let's play a game. Let's be serious about it and play a game. Let's play some defense. Let's play a game.
Yeah. Okay? Absolutely.
Now you've done it. You've done a brilliant job of making sure that the number of people that watched it before has been cut in half.
Completely. Yeah.
Brilliant job.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, all-star games, except for baseball, have become gimmicks.
Completely. Yep. I mean, completely.
The Pro Bowl?
Oh, it shouldn't even be played. Yeah. Should not even be played at this point.
I mean, Jack told me that when he was, 'cause Jack went to what? 12 Pro Bowls? 9, 10, 12, 11, 12, something like that. I think at least 9 he went to. And they loved when it was in Hawaii. He said, man, there'd be some guys that would show up for that thing and go, it just doesn't feel right. Yeah. Because they always played it after the Super Bowl.
After the Super Bowl, yep.
Back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the part they did like about it was when they finally moved it, because Jack, he played in the Coliseum. I think he played a Pro Bowl, maybe in the old Orange Bowl, but then they moved it to Aloha Stadium. It was like, oh. Suddenly the desire for everybody to go was ratcheting it up.
You bet.
At this point, like it would be like the end of January, the last weekend of January. It wasn't really, I don't think it was really got into February at that point. And everybody's like, let's go. Let's have some fun here. Now it's like, where is it, Orlando this year?
I think it's in Miami or Orlando, one of the two, yeah.
I think it's Orlando. I think it's at Camping World Stadium.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Yep.
And can't wait for the flag football game. I can.
Mm-hmm. So can I. Yep. And you want to go away from East-West, too, that's fine. I have no issue with that. You're still putting the best players against the best players. Right. You've just embarrassed yourself the way you've done it. is where it is, where I'm dealing with it.
But okay, you have people that. All right, let's look at the population out there. I'll ask you a personal question. How would you love to be a professional athlete?
Oh, absolutely. It's a dream.
I mean, now I know there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Sure.
Believe me, if anybody knows what the work is, and what the bumps and bruises are, and what all the sports performance and everything, I'm around it every day. So my knowledge of it, right? It's hard.
Sure.
Okay.
There's no question.
If anybody appreciates how difficult it is for athletes, it's hard. But knowing all that, you'd still want to be a professional athlete.
Heck yeah.
Don't you think every person in the stands would love to be the person down there?
Trade places, no question.
You know, I want to be standing where Jalen Hurts stands.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to be out there standing where Klay Thompson stands. You know, I'd love to get the puck and be Sidney Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'd love to have been CC Sabathia in the World Series. All these people want to trade places with you.
Absolutely.
And then you get in there and you have, let's not say it's all because that would be wrong. Okay? Because
Right.
you've got people who want to go out there every single day, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You have that.
Yeah.
There are people that are like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll give you one. I mean, Jaron Duran, who just signed a 1-year deal with the Red Sox. Duran was one of those guys like had to play every day.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way his makeup is. I mean, they even had a conversation after the season about, we need to talk to him about maybe taking a day off. And so you do have people like that, right, that want to be out there. But you have too many people now in star positions. That in the NBA, they're like, I need some time off. Like, you need time off.
Yeah.
Well, I'd trade places with you in a heartbeat. I wouldn't want any time off. I just want to play.
There are a lot of people that would love to be on that field one time.
Yeah. And right now in the NBA, they're out there only one time a year anyway. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Two.
Just kidding. All right. Tomorrow, Jody Mack will join me. We will preview the Eagles and the Commanders for the NFC Championship, and we'll also preview some of the Chiefs and Bills. So Jody Mack and I will do that tomorrow on the show. Should be a lot of fun. He's always great to talk to, Jody McDonald from Philadelphia. And coming up on Monday, Scott Lauber on the Baseball Hall of Fame vote is going to join us. Scott voted for 7. He did vote for Ichiro, he did vote for Sabathia, and he did vote for Billy Wagner. He voted for 4 others. We're going to get into that with him on Monday. I hope you have a great weekend.
Likewise.
I mean, because the only reason we're having these people on is not because I'm going out of town, it's because of your personal load management.
That's right. Got to take 2 to work 1, take 2.
It's what I deal with all the time. I can't do the show today, Steve. I need to save my voice for another day.
That's right.
What? No, I'll be on the road, so we've got some guests coming up on Friday and Monday, and then I'm trying to think. I am scheduled to be here Tuesday through Friday next week, all the way through.
All right.
Right, and I'll go. Once this is over, with 2 weeks from today, I got to go to California, but see what it's like when we get out there. But yeah, all right. So there you go. Yeah, another great Jason Lord show.
That's right.